I'll never forget my birthday that year. My daughter had sent me a gift, a bottle of whiskey. At first, I thought, nice she remembered. But what I did next, well, that's a story you won't believe. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss a single twist in this story. So there I was, sitting at my kitchen table, unwrapping the box. The scent hit me first, that rich, smoky aroma. A good bottle, expensive even. My heart swelled for a moment. You know, that warm, proud feeling a parent gets when their child remembers something special. But then I thought about her husband, my son-in-law. And for some reason, I still can't fully explain it, I decided to give the bottle to him instead. Just like that. No fanfare, no announcement. Now, if you've ever made a choice that seems small now, but ended up changing everything, you'll know exactly what happened next. The reactions, the tension, the shock. It was all waiting to unfold, and I had no idea just how far it would go. I remember my daughter texting me later that day. Her words were simple, almost casual, but I could feel something underneath. Something she wasn't saying. And that's when I realized this gift wasn't just a gift. It was the spark that lit a fire I never saw coming. Before I go on, hit that subscribe button if you've ever given a gift and felt that it came with unexpected consequences. By the end of that day, things had shifted. Little signs, little reactions, all pointing to something bigger. Something I didn't understand yet. And that's when I knew. I wasn't just dealing with a birthday present anymore. The truth? It all started with that simple bottle of whiskey. And what happened next? Well, it's not what anyone expected. After that birthday, things didn't immediately explode, but there was tension. You could feel it in the little things. My daughter, normally chatty and bubbly, seemed quieter on the phone. Her texts were short, clipped, and careful. And my son-in-law, well, he had this mix of surprise and awkwardness every time I mentioned the gift. You see, I'd always had a good relationship with both. My daughter is smart, kind, and full of energy. And her husband, he's a good guy mostly. But every family has its moments, right? Little friction, unspoken words, small secrets that no one talks about. That whiskey bottle had stirred something underneath the surfaces, something I wasn't prepared for. I remember sitting in my living room that evening, sipping my coffee, thinking about why I'd given it to him instead of keeping it for myself. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was a test. Maybe it was just a split-second impulse. Either way, I could already see the ripple effect. Over the next few days, I noticed subtle changes. My daughter started asking questions about the bottle, not directly, but in that way kids do when they're trying to feel out your reaction. My son-in-law started acting more carefully around me, almost like he knew I had some insight he didn't want me to see. And then came the small, almost innocent things. A comment here, a look there, hesitation in their voice when they thought I wasn't paying attention. It didn't make sense at first, but slowly it became clear. Something bigger was happening, and it all started with that birthday gift. If you've ever felt that creeping tension after something seemingly small, you know how it feels. Like a quiet storm building in the distance, you sense it, but you don't know exactly when it will hit. That's exactly what was happening in my house. By this point, I realized one thing. This wasn't just about a bottle of whiskey anymore. It was about trust, choices, and secrets. And I had to pay attention to every little detail, because one wrong move could change everything. Before we go further, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're enjoying this story, hit like. It really helps me bring more real-life stories like this to you. Don't forget to share too. I promise the next part is going to get even more intense. Because what I noticed next, what I discovered over the following days, completely changed my understanding of that gift. And trust me, you won't see it coming. The day I handed the whiskey bottle to my son-in-law, I didn't expect much. I thought it was a simple gesture, maybe a way to break the ice or spark a laugh. But almost immediately, things started to feel different. He took the bottle carefully, almost nervously, and smiled awkwardly. Thanks, he said. Not quite the reaction I expected. My daughter, on the other hand, didn't say much. I caught her glancing me from across the room, something unspoken passing between her eyes and mine. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but it hit me. This gift had opened the door. Over the next few hours, the atmosphere shifted. Small comments, side glances, things left unsaid. Every interaction felt charged. The kitchen, the living room, even casual text seemed heavier than before. I started noticing patterns, tiny things that made me wonder, did this bottle reveal more than just a birthday thought? I spent the evening reflecting, asking myself why I'd given it away. Was it fear, curiosity, or some quiet test? Regardless, I realized that every choice has consequences. Every action ripples outward, and this one was just the start. If you've ever done something small that unexpectedly changed everything, you know that moment when calm turns into tension. That's exactly what was happening in my house. Before we move on, hit that subscribe button if you've ever planned and immediately wondered about its impact. By the end of the night, one thing was clear. This wasn't just about a whiskey bottle anymore. Something bigger was being built, and I had no idea just how far it would go. After giving the whiskey to my son-in-law, I thought things might settle down. I was wrong. The next morning, I noticed a change. My daughter's texts were short, almost clipped. Usually, she sends me long, chatty messages about work, life, or random funny things, but now one-word replies. Thanks. Okay. Noted. There was carefulness in her words, like she was walking on eggshells, unsure of what I knew or what she'd done. The son-in-law, on the other hand, seemed grateful but awkward. He smiled, nodded, and kept his distance, like he wasn't sure how much to reveal or how to act. Small gestures, subtle glances, a hesitated word here or there. It all made the house feel heavier than it had just days ago. I kept quiet, observing. Something as simple as a bottle of whiskey had stirred something deeper. Minor incidents started to pop up, a joke that went flat, a slight tension at dinner, a fleeting eye roll that lingered too long. I realized that my gift had become more than a present. It was a catalyst. Sitting alone that evening, I thought I didn't know how far this would go. The storm was building, and I could feel it. Every small interaction, every careful word, seemed to be a secret. Something bigger was coming. If you've ever wondered how a single decision can ripple through family, hit subscribe and stick around. You won't believe what happens next. After a few days, the tension in the house starts becoming harder to ignore. The small changes I noticed earlier, the clipped messages, the awkward smiles, the lingering glances, begin to grow into subtle confrontations. I realize that giving the whiskey to my son-in-law has triggered something bigger than I expected. One evening, during dinner, the daughter makes a casual remark about expectations and what gifts really mean, which makes the son-in-law fidget nervously. The air feels heavy, like everyone is walking on eggshells. I sip my tea slowly, watching their reactions, trying to understand if they are upset with me, each other, or themselves. The smallest gestures, an abrupt laugh, a sigh, a glance at the clock, start to carry meaning I hadn't noticed before. I notice how people talk differently around me now. The daughter is more reserved, asking fewer questions, while the son-in-law seems caught between gratitude and unease. Every interaction feels like a careful dance, testing boundaries and patience. Even small comments at the dinner table seem loaded with subtle tension. Emotionally, I feel a mix of frustration, curiosity, and anticipation. I wonder, have I crossed a line? Did my choice reveal or provoke something they were hiding? I decide to stay calm, observing quietly, letting events unfold while trying not to influence the situation too directly. Then comes a moment I hadn't anticipated. I overhear a hushed conversation between my daughter and her husband in the living room. Their voices are low, but the tension is unmistakable. Words like trust and expectations float through the air, but the meaning is unclear. My heart races as I try to piece together what they're saying without interrupting. This is when it hits me. What seemed like a small act of generosity, the gift of a whiskey bottle, has become a catalyst for a deeper conflict. Misunderstandings, hidden feelings, and unspoken expectations are now simmering beneath the surface, ready to erupt. I lean back, contemplating my next move. Do I confront them directly? Or do I continue to observe, letting the story unfold naturally? Whatever choice I make, I know the family dynamics have shifted irreversibly. The tension is palpable, and the night ends with everyone in quiet thought, the unspoken questions hanging in the air. Something tells me that the coming days will reveal truths we can no longer ignore. If you've ever faced family tension over something small that blew up unexpectedly, hit like and share your story in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, because what happens next is going to surprise you. The tension finally reached its breaking point. I couldn't ignore the whispers, the awkward silences, and the way my daughter and son-in-law exchanged glances that carried more meaning than words. One evening, I decided to confront the situation directly. "Can we talk about what's going on?" I asked gently, trying to keep my voice calm. What unfolded next shocked me. My daughter admitted she had been hurt, not because of the gift itself, but because she felt her husband's gratitude had been exaggerated in front of me, making her feel sidelined. The son-in-law, on the other hand, confessed he hadn't meant to cause any tension. He simply appreciated the gesture but didn't know how to react without upsetting anyone. The room was thick with emotion, frustration, guilt, and relief all tangled together. I realized my small decision had amplified existing insecurities and miscommunications. I had a choice: let this linger and allow resentment to grow, or take action to restore trust and clarity. After a deep breath, I calmly explained why I gave the gift and shared my feelings honestly. Slowly, understanding began to bridge the tension. But just when I thought the worst was over, a new, unexpected revelation surfaced, something that none of us saw coming, leaving the room stunned and viewers on the edge of their seats. If you're feeling the suspense already, hit like and subscribe, because what happens next is unbelievable. The morning after the shocking revelation, the house feels unusually quiet. It's not tense anymore, at least not in the heavy, suffocating way it had been, but there's a lingering awareness that things have shifted. I sit in the living room, nursing my cup of tea, observing the subtle changes in the air. My daughter walks past, a hint of a smile tugging at her lips, and my son-in-law follows, less hesitant, more relaxed. We all know the conversation from the night before changed everything. What had started as a simple birthday gift, a bottle of whiskey, had inadvertently opened the door to buried insecurities, unspoken feelings, and family dynamics none of us had fully understood. And yet, somehow, facing the truth together had brought a sense of relief. I noticed my daughter glancing at me, then sharing a small, conspiratorial smile with her husband. There's an unspoken acknowledgement. We've survived the storm. The tension that once hovered over the dinner table has been replaced with understanding. The son-in-law, who had been awkward and overly careful in his behavior for days, now laughs freely, cracking jokes that fill the room with warmth again. Reflecting on everything, I realize how delicate family bonds are. A single action, even one meant with the purest intentions, can ripple outward in ways you never expect. But confronting the ripple, discussing it honestly, and being patient with one another is what heals the cracks. Later, as we sit together for a quiet lunch, I see the change in small gestures. A hand placed gently on an arm, laughter shared over a minor joke, a contact that no longer carries suspicion. We're learning to navigate trust in a more thoughtful way. I feel a quiet pride, not for myself, but for all of us, because honesty and patience have restored our connection. I take a moment alone in the garden, reflecting on the lessons learned. Life goes on, but now with a subtle shift in perspective. I understand better how important empathy, communication, and intention are in maintaining harmony. Even a small gift, a bottle of whiskey, can become a catalyst for growth, understanding, and renewed trust. The day ends peacefully, with a sense of closure and cautious optimism. We've faced an unexpected storm, revealed hidden truths, and come through stronger. Life continues, but now with a deeper appreciation for family, for dialogue, and for the power of small, thoughtful actions. Even as I retire for the evening, I can't help but smile. The gift, the tension, the revelation all became a lesson in love, patience, and understanding. And for that, I'm grateful. And that's how a simple birthday gift turned into a life lesson about trust, communication, and family bonds. Funny how the smallest actions sometimes reveal the biggest truth, don't it? Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever given someone a gift that unexpectedly caused tension, or maybe even brought people closer? Share your story in the comments below. I always enjoy reading your experiences, and who knows, your story might inspire someone else watching this video. If this story touched you, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps spread these stories to more people who might need them. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another story like this. We share moments of family, love, and life lessons that you'll always find relatable. Also, if you think someone in your circle could connect with this story, go ahead and share this video with them. A small share can spark a big conversation. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for supporting these stories. Until next time, stay kind, stay thoughtful, and remember, even small gestures can carry the greatest meaning.